doesn't the United States give you a couple of $1 billion a year?
Berman has announced 20 billion since the year 2000 or 2001 or whatever. I know for a fact that as I've been on the Finance Committee of Pakistan, that in Musharraf's time 9 billion was given, but that was also for 3 billion in for bases, forward bases which were supplied, and also part of that was used for supplying of energy in terms of fossil fuel and many other things. So that's been on for a while. I cannot say exactly what the figures are. And there has been some military aid, but not at the levels we would have required, but at a much lesser level. Why did the Taliban get the better of us for a moment in Swat and other places? They armed their men with unlimited rounds of fire. We could only afford to give each soldier 100 rounds, and maybe for some weaponry up to 200 rounds. So what used to happen is when they had fired out all their rounds, the Taliban would come and slit their throats to show their barbarianism. So we've had problems. We have shortage of resources. You know that. I mean, how much can we produce? We are, our entire army is either on the eastern wing or the western wing. It's only when America moved in and India cooled off that they removed their forward line so we could fall back slightly, and that eased up the pressure somewhat. But the western border is huge, 1,000 miles with Afghanistan, and it's all undulating terrain. So what happens next? We have a great amount of difficulty. We have resource difficulty. We do not have technology. We haven't got so many things. So when we waited for you to come and give us something more, when you didn't, we got it from China. We have to protect ourselves. What else can we do? And if you give something to China, we will have to have a stronger relationship with them. So we have the antecedents, but now gets more stronger because the desire and requirement gets much stronger. So really speaking, I think that take the Kerry-Lugar bill, 2 years there, 1.7 billion a year. That means 3.4 billion in 2 years should have come in. It hasn't, because it has been specifically outlined with, mostly done with NGOs for the tribal areas, not Pakistan, tribal areas.
Like humanitarian aid and that kind of thing?
Yes, and it's done through US aid directly through NGOs. We're not getting any of it in our hand as such. The other interesting...
But you are getting money to fight terrorism, aren't you?
Just a moment, let me go on that. The army gets a certain amount. Is it substantial enough? They have better weaponry than us. We can't change our weaponry. We don't have the money. We've already spoken to you about it. We need more ordnance. We don't. We needed more helicopters. Everything you answer would eventually come back. Well, we have problems with India. You know, they will not accept it. So, really speaking, is India threatened by us? No, because we both have mutually assured destruction weapons called nuclear weapons. So what we need it for is the western border, where you need it the most. I mean, even the night goggles you gave us, you'd lend them to us, and then you take them back every week or every 2 weeks, whatever the time is, to put gas into the eye light, into the eye shades. And interestingly, most of the crossings were done when those shades were not available to us. So the question would be, you know, obviously everything seeps.